Welcome to the first episode of Bias Free News, where we watch the news so that you don't have to. The goal of this show is to present you with the facts of the biggest stories of the last week and absolutely none of the narrative, so that you can decide how you think and feel about every one of these issues. Alrighty, so on the first episode of Bias Free News, we just want to clarify this is designed to be a really short and brief show that you can just watch for 5 minutes, get everything you need to know, and then if you're interested in any more of these stories, you can watch the Levi Erickson Show where we dive deeper into each one of these stories. The first thing we're going to talk about today is just a brief election update. I know this has been all over the news constantly, but it's important to know what's going on. So right now, the Trump team, the Trump legal team, has alleged many allegations regarding voter fraud and voter irregularities, which are going to supposedly overturn some of the state elections. In order for Trump to actually do that, though, he's going to have to go through the court process of each one of these states. And in order for him to actually change the current projected election results, he would have to change the election results in places like Arizona, Georgia, and one of either Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan. It's a very big allegation, which is going to require a lot of evidence, but that's going through the court process currently. In New York City, they've shut down their schools again after that they have gone above the 3% infection rate threshold, which was designed to gauge whether or not they were going to have schools open. So once they got above that 3% threshold, they decided to close schools down again. So the right now there's a debate going on in New York City whether or not they should change that threshold or whether or not they should continue it. But that's something that's going on as New York City is experiencing its second wave. Another thing that happened this week is there was a report that came out that Iran is actually 12 times, as according to the BBC, is 12 times the uranium threshold that they're allowed to have. And so Trump was talking with his advisors over possible military action that he could take. But after speaking with his advisors, they talked him out of it and talked him into using different methods to respond. And so it looks as if the Trump administration has put the military actions off the table. Another thing that's happened over the last week, and even more than that, is due to all the economic crises that have been brought up during this COVID pandemic, and the economy has been up and down, up and down. One of the discussions is how the government can actually help that need at all. So one of the things that they've been debating on is if they should relieve student debt and basically absorb the debt for the students who are at this point about $1 trillion in student debt. So that's one of the debates that have been brought up is if that should be something the federal government should be involved in, and if how expensive that would be. The last story we're going to talk briefly about today is the Kyle Rittenhouse story. So Kyle Rittenhouse is the 17-year-old man who was at a riot in Kenosha, and he was there defending a car dealership allegedly, and during the protests and riots and loots in the area, they had 3 men who allegedly attacked Kyle, and allegedly he pleads self-defense in shooting all 3 of them. 2 of them died. 1 of them was injured. Prosecutors are arguing that it was not self-defense. Kyle is arguing that it was self-defense. We're going to see that play out in court. But Kyle was able to reach a $2 million bail, and he's been released today, or yesterday rather. Yeah, we will see how that unfolds in court. But that is all for Bias Free News for this week. Please tune in for more information and more commentary on the Levi Erickson Show briefly after this, where we'll go more into the details of that. And next Sunday, we will not have a bias-free show, due to Thanksgiving, but we will have a Why Christ episode airing, which we are going to talk about theology. It's our first episode of that. Please tune into that. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm Levi Erickson, and this is Bias Free News. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, please check out our other Leviticus Studios productions, including the Debunk series, Bias Free News, and Why Christ. The Levi Erickson Show is produced by Wyatt Winfield and Peyton Havilla. Music by River Erickson and Andrew Montgomery.